our American, I'll say westernized, because that includes Canada as well as parts of Europe, our westernized mindset of keeping up with the Joneses. Because a lot of times we'll do it subconsciously to keep up with our favorite YouTubers or keep up with our favorite other content creators, TikTokers that are traveling, or we'll do it trying to keep up with the guys in our group. I'm telling you, your group of dudes will break your budget.
Damn, Perk did this?
I don't need no one to save me. I was born to be the greatest. All that time in that basement, all that time isn't wasted. Rapping getting faded. I just wanna tell my mom that I made it. Just wanna be the topic of the conversation. Used to rock the gold plated. Now I'm wearing gold chains like I'm famous.
Talking about the money, you know, bad budgeting. Bad budgeting. Now that's number 3. When you guys, and I actually said this, shout out to Big Boss Real Talk. I said this on his channel, not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before. And I said, hey guys, if you want to ensure that you're having fun, make sure that you're bringing extra funds, because, you know, you don't want to put yourself in that precarious position to where you're like, man, listen, I ain't got it. I need help or whatever. Like, dude, you don't want to do that, you know? So if you make sure that you have an idea of all of your itineraries of what you want to do, you know, whether during the day, during the evening, after hours. You guys all know what I'm saying. You want to make sure that you have an idea of your itineraries for each part of the day and have a budget. Have a budget, because if you over budget, and it kind of goes into what Dre was saying earlier about over tipping. Right, next thing you know, you're like, oh, I got this, I got that. Yeah, on day 1 and day 2, you're flush full of cash, but now on day 8, day 9, you're like, oh shit. You know what I mean? They start to get real.
Yeah.
They start to get real for them. You know what I mean? So yeah, because on day 1, oh yeah, it's lit. It's a party. I'm popping all type of bottles, and I'm giving, I'm giving the doorman a tip. All of that. Day 1, day 2, day 8, day 9, you start looking like,
where my bank account set up.
You know how, like, you know, when you go out to eat with somebody and then they start looking around and you're like, what you looking around for? It's only me and you here, bro.
That's true.
They got the struggle look on their face.
You can tell.
Cost 100 mil peso. Oh. Or that taxi ride to the airport. How much he want?
Plus you got to pay a toll. How much is the toll?
Right.
10,000 pesos. That's just too much.
Right. Everything start being too much now. You know,
right.
8, 9.
And that goes back to our American, I'll say westernized, because that includes Canada as well as parts of Europe. Our westernized mindset of keeping up with the Joneses. Because a lot of times we'll do it subconsciously to keep up with our favorite YouTubers or keep up with our favorite other content creators, TikTokers that are traveling, or we'll do it trying to keep up with the guys in our group. I'm telling you, your group of dudes will break your budget because it's not their budget. I'll say that again. Your boys will break through your budget in 2 days because it is not their budget. Right. And so they can pop bottles because they wisely put a certain amount of money to the side for popping bottles for the next 8 days. You got enough money to pop bottles for maybe 2. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Maybe 3 of the 8 days.
Right.
There's nothing shameful in telling your boys, like, listen, I ain't going out tonight. You know, I'm like, oh, I got other plans tonight. Or I'm gonna go do something. I'm gonna just chill tonight. Because tomorrow I'm going to. You might want to hit up some of the free stuff to do, so, like some of the museums and some of the walking tours and things. Right. There's nothing wrong with that. Your boys might try to shame you into, come on, man, we going on party. Nah, bro, I didn't come here to just party the whole time. You may want to take advantage of a lot of free stuff to enjoy in many of these countries that will amaze you. But overspending is not the way to go. And you're right, because if you are not wise with your budget, you're going to be doing like a lot of guys do, calling me in Kings and Dreams, trying to borrow a couple $100 until you get back to the house. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. So like that was actually going to be my bonus one. So we'll move that to number 4, the friends, because you want to be mindful of who you are traveling with, right? Because your friends have a budget. Let's say you guys are there for 10, 15 days. They have a budget of partying for at least 8 to 10 days, right? And you have a budget, let's say, of 3 max, right? Utilize the different things that you can do, free things or stuff that is in your budget, to where it's like, oh, you know what? Like, I don't have to go out and pop bottles every night. Okay, Friday and Saturday, I'm gonna pop a bottle. But Sunday, they have this thing where they're playing music outside or whatever, and they're serving, drinks, and it's very minimal on the cost. Great, do that. Be able to move around, right? Because the thing is that what I always say is a great trip is coming back with more money than you thought that you thought that you were actually going to spend. Because when you have that money, and let's say, right, and you're like, man, you know what? I'm not going to Brazil for a while, or I'm not going to Eastern Europe, or I'm not going to West Africa, East Africa, South Africa for a while. But you know what? You still got that money there, right? And so when you do decide to go back, you have that. You have that, as opposed to when you get back and you like, man, damn, how am I gonna put gas in my car? Man, how am I gonna get to work? You know what I'm saying? You limping when you're coming back. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you have more than enough to go out there with, and then also save some money, coming back. And we're not saying that you can't have fun with your boys and turn up and do all that. We're not saying that, but everything is within moderation, right? And if you're not taking care of the things that you're supposed to be taking care of in moderation, and you're reaching out to your people back home, hey, bro, you know what I mean? Yo, man, listen, man, I need 300. Yeah, you'll get the 300 and stuff, but it's like, bro, like you still want to be responsible enough to where you are not like just coming home just broke.
Absolutely. And the crazy part is, I love how you said, now you're back home struggling. Everything that and it just takes it even further to ruining your vacation. Mm-hmm. You made it, you got on the plane, yes. You had a good time, yes. You got back on the plane, yes, but your vacation has been ruined because now you owe your boy an extra $300 back home.
Right.
Or now you got to rob Peter to pay Paul because you ain't got money because you didn't budget everything out. Be wise with your money. And I know many of us are older guys that listen to this broadcast. And so some of us have been established and we're doing well. But there are still a few people out there that need to hear this, because this may be their first or second or maybe even 5th trip to some of these locations. Mm-hmm. And they're still in the habit of overspending. It's right. Not called for. I could see, what Kings, I could see if there was a benefit to overspending to try to impress your boys. I could see if there was some type of benefit to it, but there's not. There's literally, after 5 trips to whatever country you've gone to, let's say you've been to Brazil 5 times, I have yet to meet the guy that says, man, I was so glad my boys convinced me to overspend. I've never heard it happen.
Right.
I never heard a dude go back home and say, man, I'm glad I still owe my boy $300 who I had to call from Brazil for some extra money. There's no benefit to it. So trying to press these dudes, and here we go, also trying to press these women. Bruh, when you know that the same intimacy, same sex is being done by local men at a fraction of the price, a fraction. These dudes don't make any money compared to what you make in Colombia or in Brazil compared to your American paycheck. And if these dudes can run through these women and have a good time and party, because the clubs aren't full of, and the VIP sections aren't full of American and local men and foreign men, they're full of locals as well. So if these local men can pull these sexy women and still live a life, what is it about you also to help keep from ruining your, and don't forget your thought, Kings.
Nope.
One of the things that Andre and I always do, we always have an emergency. We always have a certain amount of credit cards for emergencies. You never know what happens. Right. I may lose my wallet, and I may lose it, and may have my bank cards in it, but I have tucked away extra credit cards, so I don't have to worry about what might take place if anything happens. And this credit card may have an extra $3,000-$4,000 or $2,000-$3,000 on that credit card credit line, to where I don't have to worry about my trip being interrupted. I just call my bank because I lost my wallet, and I just let them know, they lock my bank account up. I'll talk to you guys when I get back to that country, get back home. But always have at least one extra credit card. I don't see why guys don't do, especially at our age in life, to where you should have at least one solid credit card for whatever it may be, a business credit card or a personal credit card, but you should have at least one, or even some extra monies, monies put to the side, at least an extra $200, $300, $400, $500, $1,000. Like Andre and I always have an extra $1,000 for emergencies, no matter when we go. If our budget for Europe for that month is $3,000, that's going to be our spending money, hanging out, blah, blah, blah. That's $3,000, eating, so forth and so forth. But you better believe we got an extra $1,000 to $2,000 put to the side. That's not to be touched. That's not to be bothered. That's not to be looked up on. That money is actually, we hope to come back, and that money is still sitting there. But if ever we needed it, and I give you a perfect example, Kings, with the credit cards. We got the DR. Andre and I didn't know. We brought, I don't know what made us bring Colombian pesos instead of USD. we get to DR. We're going to be there for a month. DR says, oh, we don't exchange Colombian pesos. We look like, what? Yeah, so we go to the next money exchange. They're like, no, we don't do that here in DR. So we had to use our credit cards and then go ahead and put the money back on our, take care of the credit cards when we got back. But we had them. What if we didn't have those credit cards for emergencies?
Right.
We'd have been back on a plane.
Right.
So always have monies put to the side for emergencies. I don't see why you guys want to party up your emergency money. It's not put to the side for, oh, I done ran out of my party money, but I got this extra $400 over here. I can keep the party going. No, that extra $400 is for emergencies.
All right.
Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, no. What I was gonna say is the most simplistic thing ever, right? One of the things that, like, guys, I know that you want to impress a woman. The most impressive thing that you can do to a woman abroad is actually just being there, because there's so little of us that are actually able to get over there. So the fact that we are actually able to get over there is impressive enough. But see, the thing is that we think that we have to do extra, 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 and we don't have to. Just getting there is actually over half of what's needed, at least a good 70-80%. And then you have your cologne, you dress nice, you don't have to put on and nothing necessarily too fancy, but dress like you have some sense and you give a damn about yourself and smell, and smell proper and be pleasant. And that's your 100% right there. So 75% of it is just getting your ass on the plane and landing, and you're right there.